west to the slow-motion disaster unfolding in Hawaii. The lava flowing into a town has moved about the length of a football field in a day's time. And tonight we get an incredible view from the air, from the source, the erupting Kilauea Volcano, all the way to the town now in its way. NBC's Hallie Jackson has our report again tonight from high above the Big Island.
We are at the tip of the sphere. This is the leading edge of the Pahoa lava flow. Here in town, about 40 to 50 homes are within potentially the direct path of this lava.
It's going to be a little smoky here.
This home looks to be one of the lucky ones. The flow passed within just a few hundred yards of the house here. It doesn't look like this lava is moving at all, but it is. It's going anywhere from 5 yards an hour to 20 yards an hour. This is so slow moving that the lava on top is hardening and blackening. There's still red hot lava underneath.
We're crossing off a road.
Right now, it feels like we're in a furnace. We're close to the lava, and you can see some of the breakouts. And I'll tell you, you can feel it. You can barely breathe. It's smoky and it's thick. This is what is feeding that lava flow that's heading right over the town of Pahoa. It's basically a bathtub full of lava. It's crusted over on top, and it acts as insulation, keeping that lava underneath incredibly hot.
You're looking actually into a lava tube.
That crust is like ice on a lake. Underneath are these tubes. That's what's funneling the lava right towards civilization. It's been about 17 weeks, and this thing has traveled 12 miles. It shows no sign of stopping just yet. It's nature at its most powerful, breathtakingly beautiful, dangerous, and devastating.
That report just sent in to us from NBC's Hallie Jackson in the air over the Big Island tonight.
A small Hawaiian town on the brink of disaster as an unstoppable flow of lava, scorching everything in its path, is moving into that village onto one of those properties. And there is almost nothing those residents can do except get out of the way. Hello everyone, I'm Dan Kleffler in New York, and that lava has been flowing since the eruption of Mount Kilauea in June, and tonight it is burning its way into that town. Watching it all right there on the front line is ABC's senior meteorologist Rob Marciano, joining us now live from Hilo, Hawaii. And Rob, we're hearing and seeing that lava is actually on the property of at least one of those homes.
Yeah, it's now onto private occupied property, and potentially taking out that home, that structure later on today. I suppose if there's any good news, that the flow itself has slowed down a touch. It was averaging 10 to 15 yards per hour, and from yesterday to today, that dropped down to about 5 yards per hour. That just kind of prolongs the inevitable. It's eventually going to make its way to the ocean. It's just a matter of what path it takes and how much it takes out within that path. But it is on private occupied property now, and most of the people that have needed to get out in Pahoa Village, which is about 9 or 10 miles from where I stand right here, and the roads are blocked there for folks who don't live there. Those people whose homes are threatened, most of them have at least retreated to more safe ground.
The intensity of the heat in the lava there obviously can't be described nearly enough. We were watching some of the video that you had for us on GMA. You were actually relatively close to that lava flow. I mean, you know, yes, you're living on the island of Hawaii, and you know that this is a reality, but at the same time, though, has this caught a lot of people off guard?
You know, just because you live on Hawaii, the locals that live here, you have to deal with the ever-present threat of being on a volcanic island, but that doesn't mean that they're used to seeing or hearing about lava coming into their backyard. This is an extraordinary event, and yes, to be up close and personal to that lava, it's quite an experience, to say the least. The amount of heat that what was once magma, now lava above the surface, projects is just incredible. At the surface, it's about 2,000 degrees, so you don't have to be but 10 or 15 yards from that to feel that searing heat on your skin, and that's certainly what we felt last night. We were actually about 3 miles from the lava flow front upstream, so an area that had already seen the lava come down, you know, a couple of weeks ago. But there are areas where you'll get a resurgence of lava that comes out of the actual source, the Kilauea volcano, and then you'll also get these breakouts. Will kind of break out of the side, break out from underneath, because underneath that lava that has cooled and hardened is a tube of lava that continues to make its way towards the ocean. So it's really an organism onto its own, but a very, very scary one at that, Dan.
What about those holdouts? Anyone that has been just determined that they're going to stay there and either protect their property or hold out some kind of hope, in fact, that the lava is going to miss it altogether?
Well, we know of one person, at least one person, that has taken action to kind of try to build a berm around his property, and so that the lava comes down and kind of acts as a moat and deflects away. We'll see if that actually works. The neighbors around him aren't happy about that because that deflects that lava that would potentially come into his home, potentially into their home. As far as people who said, I'm not leaving, I'm going to stay here and, you know, burn down with my house, we haven't run into too many people who have said that. What locals who are threatened are saying is that when and if the lava gets to their property, gets to their home, where they've lived for, in some cases, decades, they would like to be at least close enough to watch their home burn down. Kind of a sad thought for sure, but very important to the people that live here to be able to have that option. So local authorities are giving them that option. So evacuation has been advised. Most people have taken that in earnest, but they will be allowed to come back and at least view the lava entering their property when that happens. It's a very slow-moving process, so it's not like a tsunami or something like that where you just don't have the time to get out of the way. They will be allowed to view that for that closure when it happens, and it could happen today. For some folks, it could happen this weekend or really into next week, Dan.
There must be a level of frustration. I mean, knowing, in fact, if your house or your property is in the line of path for that lava, and because it moves so slowly like that essentially you're helpless, that you have to just sit there and wait out those agonizing moments, essentially to watch, you know, your life just change right before your eyes.
Yeah, I can't even imagine it, honestly. And they've been dealing with that sort of anxiety since June. Now, this volcano has been erupting actively since, I think, 1983, but this particular vent got active and started spewing lava, or emitting lava, or releasing lava, I should say, down the side of the mountain since June. And it's kind of gone in fits and starts. So they've had to deal with, okay, here it's coming, it's picking up speed, let's get your stuff packed up, we're getting ready to move to a stage, you know, a few weeks ago where it's always slowed down, you know, not so much of an urgency, to now again, okay, let's get your stuff ready, let's take action. It's getting really close. It looks like it is going to happen. So they've had this kind of tug of war of emotions that's been going on really for the past 4 or 5 months. So I can't even imagine what that does to your psyche. But they're pretty. The locals are laid back, but they're also very, very tough, and they're dealing with it as it comes, Dan.
Well, what is the situation then with the evacuation routes, with main roads, things like that? Are any of those threatened because of this lava flow?
Highway 130, which is the main road that kind of goes around that part of the island, there's estimates of about 10,000 cars a day use that particular highway. And if the lava goes across that and compromises that highway, you could see as many as like 8,000 people lava locked to where they can't get to where they need to go on either side of that. So they're trying to kind of make an alternate route and prepare for that happening. But when it does happen, it's gonna bring life here to a standstill. So they're very, very concerned about that. You've probably seen pictures of them trying to protect utility poles so that power remains on even when the lava comes through town. There's a lot of question as to what's going to hold up and what's going to happen. You really can't stop the flow of lava. It's going to go where it wants to go, and it's going to take out what it wants to take. So they're going to, at some point, they're going to be at the whims of Mother Nature, and they realize that. They're just trying to do the best they can until it gets to that point, Dan.
Obviously, it must be very, very difficult, obviously, to watch this, to deal with this, and to make any kind of preparation for something like that. I mean, essentially, the force that created the island and the paradise that you're there could, in fact, be destroying that town.
That is the thing. I mean, this island has seen eruptions for hundreds of thousands of years, and it's just odd to see, and really in the past few decades, they've added like 500 acres of shoreline just from lava eruptions. So it adds to the landscape. It builds the islands, is why these islands are here. At the same time, when you start to see it take out the homes and take out neighborhoods, it's certainly a catch-22, and I don't want to be flip about it. You know, it's the price you pay to living in paradise. But I suppose some of the people that live here are willing to accept that, because Hawaii, as you know, is an incredible place. Right,
but obviously it's coming at a very steep cost, though, at the same time. ABC's Rob Marciano in Hawaii. Rob, thank you so much. Appreciate it.